Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Joe, the Monday morning podcast brought to you by Eagles Flight Productions. I'm Jacob.
I'm Ben.
And today we're talking about hygiene, public indecency, and performing live. So let's go ahead and roll on into the first topic, which is hygiene.
Let's begin.
All right, so we are talking about hygiene, and now, Jacob, I have a question for you.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Have you ever known a person who just smelled bad no matter what?
Yep, in high school, the kid that I told you in Topics Irrelevant that I would actually poke with thumbtacks in the back fat, I feel bad for this kid, but let me give you some backstory. First of all, if you didn't smell him, then good for you. But something was wrong with this boy. I don't know what it was, but he would sit there at his desk, and people listening can't see this, but I'm leaning on the table and staring just like what would be over the table in school. And he would sit there and he'd stare over the table at school, like at the floor. They'd put a test in front of him, and he would just sit there and stare at the floor still and then turn in his test, no name or anything. He'd always get it back because the teachers knew who did it. They'd say, oh, that's blank, and he didn't put his name or do the test. And he would be, okay. You know, he was cool with it, and it was weird. But this guy constantly smelled like urine and just, it was very gross. And I don't know, I imagine something was going on at home. But I feel bad for anyone who just always smells bad, can't control it. I don't know what. It may be like an endocrine disorder. I don't know. But this kid constantly smelled like urine and just a combination of disgusting things. And like I felt for him, but he still smelled bad. But what about you, Ben? Have you known anyone who just smells awful, no matter what, at all times?
Yeah. I mean, there's this guy that used to live in the dorm hall called Martin that I used to live in last year.
Okay.
My freshman year at Baylor. And this guy lived on a different floor, but on the same side of the building. So whenever he wanted to go to the ground floor, which I did live on, he would come down through the stairwell. And typically he would have to pass me. And this guy...
You get a good whiff of the groin area as you cross and go up the stairs.
It's awful.
It
stresses me out thinking about it. Just gross. He smells sweaty.
Was it like, okay, so it was sweat.
No. It's fucking, he doesn't shower. That's what it is. Okay? It was stupid. That's why I don't feel bad for him. And people are like, wow, I feel bad for this guy because he's not attractive. He doesn't smell good.
You can fix the smell.
Yeah, no. I'm like, I don't feel fucking shit. This guy's being nasty. He's just too lazy to wash under his fucking fat flabs. That's not on me. I don't feel bad for him. He needs to shower.
Some people, though, they just can't help it. And I don't know what...
You can't help taking a bar of Dove and then rubbing your armpit?
Well, like that kid I went to school with, I know that kid showered. I know he did because he didn't look nasty. His clothes weren't nasty looking. It was just, I guess he sweat. He would sweat and maybe his cat would piss in his clothes.
No, this guy didn't look oily or anything, so I'm sure he went and rinsed off in the shower and got used to his own scent, so he was like, oh, I must be not smelling bad.
That's such a scary thought.
I can get away with just sitting in the water. Nope.
No.
Everybody can smell your nasty ass from like 10 feet away.
Oh, dude.
And I'm not kidding.
Do people know that they smell bad, though? That's what I want to know. Can you tell that you stink? I mean...
I don't know. It's everyone else's fault if they don't tell him. And then I'm one of those people
because
I didn't tell the guy.
What if how do you say, hey man, I hate to say it, but you smell really bad.
No, my friend Molly the other day told me my breath smelled awful. All she did is gave me a piece of gum. She's like, your breath smells really bad. And I was like, thank you. I've been self-conscious about it ever since, and it's been 2 months, and I'm still not over it.
You're leaning back talking to me right now.
But I mean, it's like, it was nice, because I'm like, oh, thank God. Now I don't have to get up in everyone's faces and hi, and just like make them all pass out. One time, I don't know if it's because my breath smelled bad or if just because she had them out. She gave me these weird like toothpick things that
like floss picks or
no, it was a toothpick. It was a chewing stick, and it had like menthol and mint and all kinds of stuff on it. And I just chewed on it for like an hour.
You could alternatively smoke menthol cigarettes instead.
Not smoke at
all.
Or
not smoke at all. That's the other option. So you can brush your teeth or smoke menthol cigarettes. There is no middle ground here.
Just one of them gives you lung cancer. The other has no harm whatsoever.
Or so we think.
Right.
How much research do they really put into toothpaste? Find out next week on Morning Joe.
Yeah, right.
So that being said, there are people who smell bad. Like you said, you don't think that guy actually knew that he smelled bad. My guy, I think he knew but couldn't control it. Right. And I think that's why he was so sad all the time. He would stare at the ground and think, I know Jacob smells me.
I'm sad because I smell bad.
I know Jacob can smell me right now, and he's really cool, and I feel bad. But that being said, have you ever been able to smell your own BO?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, whether it's you just have that ass smell after the bathroom,
right.
After you take a dump, just wafting up to you when you sit down and the air pushes between your legs.
I have never taken a crap and been, wow, that smells awful, until I've left and then come back.
Yeah.
While I'm taking the poop, I don't know what happens. My nose just shuts off, or it just gets used to the smell like that.
Well, what I do is
But then I leave and I go, oh, I left my phone in there. And then it's like, it could have been Indiana Jones 4 trying to find my way to the phone without dying.
Oh, man. Yeah,
should have been Indiana Jones.
I've been able, I know when I stink most times.
Right.
I know when my breath stinks. I know when I, my armpits may smell bad. I hate when I forget to put on deodorant.
Same. Right, me too.
I freak out and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta keep this hoodie on all day
and
so
it
doesn't
sweating
escape.
Because I got nervous. I'm
I
probably smell bad if I start sweating. And
then it happens to be that day. Yeah, it happens to be that day that the weather goes from 50 degrees to 90.
Right.
Because we're in Central Texas, that's what happens. And you're thinking, I regret wearing just a hoodie. I can't take it off. And if I waft a little bit, people are gonna pass the hell out next to me. And that, it's that, and the days that I hate to say this, there are days that I just don't shower because I get up late and I'm like, oh, I feel like shit. I'm gonna just fuck it, go to class. I have one class today.
See,
on Tuesday, Thursday. Some days I just don't shower on those days.
No, that's different for me. If I wake up, say 10, 15 minutes late, and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have time to shower and go to class. My conclusion is I'm not going to class. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to sleep, shower when I wake up, and then go to my other classes throughout the day. I can't go to class nasty because people know. Okay,
I
they
feel
know
like they
when
know.
I'm nasty. I get guys, I get gross. Okay,
I already look gross. That's my key. Is I look gross no matter what. I just look like an oily mountain.
So people can't tell if Jacob just didn't sleep well or if he.
But I only get close to people when I've showered. So I only shake someone's hand or give them a hug the days I've showered. Mm-hmm. So they think, oh, he's just really rugged looking and has this nice kind of musky man smell to him.
Nope, not.
And then the days I don't shower, that's everyone's conclusion.
I can't confirm.
But the days that I don't shower, I avoid people with all I've got. I avoid my own mother. When I don't shower. And she knows. She wakes up before I do.
Jacob, why don't you come spend time with your mama? Because, Ma, you didn't shower again, did you, Jacoby?
Nope. But that kind of taken into the fact that I wanted to mention that I actually have this constant fear, even when I shower, that I smell bad. I don't know what it is. I have this constant self-conscious awareness of, I hope that someone doesn't get a whiff of anything bad from me. I hope I don't smell a little sweaty. I hope I don't have a little turd flake left on my butt hair. That heats up in the summer sun and puts off a putrid smell.
I did not see that coming.
And I'm constantly, I sit there and I'll do this thing where, if I'm by myself, I don't do it in front of people. I'll kind of bounce in my chair to try to get some air going and try to see if I can smell myself.
Oh my god!
Because if I move this, if I bounce a little bit and smell myself, I know that whenever I went to take a poop during class and walked back up in front of 300 people, they all smelled my ass. Sure. And so after I sit down, I'm like, okay, did they smell it?
Apparently, Jacob walks with his ass cheeks wide open.
Well, you ain't wrong. But that's one of my phobias is just smelling bad. I constantly fear that. And that's unreasonable, I know, but it's because I've known people who've chronically smelled bad. Mm-hmm. And that kind of goes into, have you ever known anyone who has chronic bad breath? And I hope it's not me.
No.
Okay.
You know what's weird is I know for a fact I have met a couple people that I had class with and sat next to, and I think they thought they were my friend.
And they get real
high
close?
school, and they have a nasty breath. And I don't remember who they are for the life of me. But right. I know this has happened. Because I get stupid mean and just whiny when crap like that happens. When people smell bad and they won't leave me alone, but I'm too nice to tell them to fuck off.
You're sitting there like kind of holding your breath a little bit. Like, yeah, man, that's real nice.
Because what I do is I'm like super nice and I put up with it, and then I go to one of my friends. I'm like, dude, this person's breath is so fucking awful. And I know, like, Aaron is probably listening to this right now. Aaron Sticks. Yes. And he's a good friend of mine, and I know he's the guy I went to. So I'm hoping that he's going to listen to this, remember.
And brush his goddamn teeth.
Well, no, right? Or get back to me and tell me who it was I used to freak out about. Because I know every day after lunch, I was like, motherfucker! And he's like, what happened? I was like, I was just in theater, and this kid was breathing in my mouth and nose. It was gross.
He put his mouth on my fucking nose and just breathed into it as he talked to me. He said, hey, I got a secret to tell you. Come here. And he grabbed me by the back of the neck, put my nose in his mouth, and just...
Because he thinks he tells secrets into people's mouths.
Yeah. Who is that? Louis C.K.? Yeah. But I've had a couple people that I know who have chronic bad breath. And the thing is, those are the people that get unbelievably and uncomfortably close to you, too, to talk to you. It's like there's a proximity issue associated with bad breath. I think
what happens is they come in close. Like the first few times they try to tell people secrets, these people were pulling away. So now their body is just inclined to get awkwardly closer because people are constantly pulling away.
Yeah.
And then for the people who are just brave enough to... just not move, he gets stupid close anyway, because, I don't know, he's a freak.
But here's the thing, when people do that to me, I don't know how they don't know I'm holding my breath, because I pull my face back, and I'm
my
like...
face turns blue.
Like, I take these, like, inhales, I hope they don't hear, and I hold my breath until I have to talk again. I'm like... Yep, that's really good.
Smiling through his teeth.
Yeah, I sit there, and I, like, pull my head back so that it reduces the proximity between my nose and their mouth. And I hold my breath until they shut the hell up. I'm like... And then these people don't just stop talking. They keep going and going and going. And you're like, well, I gotta go. Oh, by the way, before you go, I have to breathe all the fuck over you. And it's just annoying. I can't stand it.
It's awful. It's not a fun game.
I feel bad if someone has chronic bad breath, because that actually is a thing. You know, like, it's not like you can brush your teeth and that shit goes away. Some people, they brush their teeth and it gets worse. Because they stir up the bacteria and
they just let it sit.
Growth.
They don't spit it out.
They got moss growing in their mouth and all kinds of nasty things. No, if you are a person with chronic bad breath, please go talk to your dentist, oral hygienist, and orthodontist. No, that's braces.
They work on teeth.
I think there's a difference. But go to your denojournalist and
look up on the internet who the fuck cleans and keeps track of teeth.
I got my computer right here.
The closest one.
Google.com. Let's see. Okay, define orthodontist. I don't think I can spell it.
Stupid.
An orthodontist is a type of dentist who specializes in straightening crooked teeth. So it is just solely... An orthodontist is solely a brace doctor. See your general dental hygienist and caretaker.
Well, then I don't know what the hell they're doing telling me how to brush my teeth and shit.
Well, you had braces on.
Yeah, and they're like, make sure your mouth is clean.
Because they
specialize... The fuck do you know? You're just straightening them.
Anyways, talk to them, because you may actually have something like... There's tonsil diseases that can contribute to that. Tongue diseases, gum diseases. Anything in your mouth can pretty much get a disease. So... find out why you have bad breath, and please address it, because it's a health issue. Anyways,
stay away from me.
That set aside, keep good hygiene, please. And if you feel that you chronically smell bad, sweat, or have bad breath, you need to see your doctor. It's a serious condition. Or go to WebMD. Next up, we have the news for this week.
All right, let's get started.
All right, guys, so as usual, from Huffington Post, because we love Huffington Post, or I do, I was looking in the weird news section, because that's where we get some good stories from. And usually I say, disclaimer, it sounds funny, but it's really fucked up. Don't be mean about it. Understand that it's ironic, and that's why it's funny, but, send your thoughts out to the person who got hurt or whatever. No, this one's just plain funny. this is the headline that I saw, and I was like, I have to click it. I just have to. And don't look this up if you're at work.
No, dude, look it up.
No. The adorable secret life of one man's penis. Now, I will say that again. The headline was The Adorable Secret Life of One Man's Penis. Now, before you go looking that up, understand this article does contain not safe for work photography.
It shows a dick.
There's a lot
several times, okay?
But here's the thing. It's not... I wouldn't classify it as explicit pornography.
No, okay. Like,
I'll explain the article.
It's like seeing... It's not sexualized.
It's artistic.
No.
It's using your body for art.
Art? No.
So this man...
Okay, come on.
Ben's losing it tonight. So this man, he has a Tumblr account as all... Kind of... Tumblr is where all weird things come from. Mm-hmm. And all funny things, really, if you think about it.
No.
A lot of funny stuff.
No, just weird.
Okay, weird stuff. Anyways, so this guy's Tumblr is called Things My Dick Does. And Huffington Post got a chance to interview him. You can check it out on their website. There's a SoundCloud post with their audio interview. But in the article, one thing that the man stated is, I've always wondered what my dick does and the times he is up before I am. So essentially, he is, I guess, personifying his dick. Would that be the word? Yeah, so he's saying his penis has a mind of its own, which as men, we do know that. But he takes it to a whole new level. And in the article, you can see pictures of this man's penis. And he dresses it up in different little outfits, smiley faces and stuff, and posts pictures online. Like, one, he has his penis laying on the counter with a bunch of flour on it, and it has a smiley face and, like, a bunch of eggs.
And arms.
And arms. It has arms.
Stick figure arms.
He just lays his dick on the counter and says, oh, this would make a good Photoshop. And then he got famous for it. You know, he's running a Tumblr blog. He's famous about it. And he said it started as a sexting joke. And I didn't really get to go further into that. But what I'm assuming what happened was his girl's like, or his guy, I don't know his sexuality. They were like, hey, baby, can you please send me some dick pics? And he goes,
he was just in the kitchen.
He's like, oh, let me just put my sausage on the counter with my other sausage. And put arms and a smiley face on it. And now look at what's turned out. So, Ben, I have a question for you.
No, I've never done this.
Well, I wasn't going to ask that.
Oh, good.
I was going to say, if you knew that you could be famous and have all the riches that you wish from your Tumblr blog, would you post decorated, ornamental dick pics online? Me too. Now, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? We looked through these just, you know, not out of gayness, obviously. This guy's dressing his penis up.
Just straight up, we clicked on the link and we're scrolling through his dick pictures.
But one thing that we happen to notice, we don't think the man has testicles. Nowhere were the penis's legs to be seen.
Honestly, Jacob noticed that. I was so distracted by, like, the hilariosity.
Oh, it's funny. People love it. They're like, oh, it's so cute. And I wouldn't say it's cute because I'd feel weird saying, oh, that guy has a cute dick. But I think it's great. If I was that... I mean...
There's the picture of... He had, like, a little beanie baby mouse... And he had his dick, a hedgehog, and he had his dick next to it with an arm around it.
Yeah,
and they're like cuddling
a hedgehog.
I
he's what are they called? Furry? He's a furry.
Oh,
that's what he is.
Oh, we're not gonna go there.
That's my fetish. So,
guys, okay, here's what I'm wondering. It started as a sexting joke. So either one of two things happened. Either one, he was sending these pictures to his girl / guy. The significant other got pissed
or whatever
off.
In between.
Got pissed off and posted the shit online to embarrass him. And he went with it. He was like, whatever, you're my dick pics and doing funny activities. It's at Splash Town today. Or
Splash Town. Taking a bath with little man.
That's right. Or his girlfriend / boyfriend gave him permission to post his penis online.
Maybe it was just a Snapchat scandal. Maybe he met someone
But it's a sexting joke. So either someone else threw it online and he went with it. Or he
he's just weird.
He got permission for it.
I don't know. Maybe.
I know he's weird. That's the general.
Maybe he's
consensus.
just taking someone else's penis and drawing on it. That could be it. We need to investigate this.
No, we don't.
We need to get down to the bottom of this penis.
Not my job.
Yeah, mine either. All right, guys. Well, if you let us know and tweet us at morningjoe_show what type of non-explicit artistic things you would do with your genitalia to get famous on the internet. Because I'm curious. I would totally wrap it up like he did a little ghost penis. I would do that. I'd do that in a heartbeat. If I knew I'd be internet famous and I knew that I could launch my career off of my penis like a diving board, I would do it. So let us know what you do with your genitalia. And that being said, we kind of have a common theme going in today's podcast. So after talking about posting your penis online, we're going to move into topic 2, which is public indecency.
Oh, boy. All right, so on to topic 2, on public indecency. I hear that Jacob has an IHOP employee story. And I don't even know this one, but if it's on Morning Joe, it has some kind of significance, and it's got to be funny. So let's hear it.
Okay, here's the thing. I wasn't consciously aware. My age, I wasn't old enough to understand or know what was going on.
Okay.
But my parents tell me about it. I don't know if I was actually with them, but I'm going to say I was, just for the sake of the story. So we were obviously at IHOP back when, before we were an all-organic, vegan granola family. And, which I love eating that way. I love you, Mom. And we were leaving IHOP, and apparently the waiter, I think it was, that was waiting our table, they saw him go outside, and he just whips his junk out and pisses on the back of the building.
Whoa!
And I was thinking, like, when they told me this, I was like, so first of all, you saw him. They were like, yep, he went outside and peed behind the building.
How long did they stare?
They were driving away, so probably a good 5-10 seconds.
They were driving, looking at a penis, 5-10 seconds. Their
Right,
eyes were not on the road.
Well, I don't know. My dad was probably driving. My mom probably took pictures. I don't know. She was probably like, oh, we got to take this for the family scrapbook.
Oh, my God.
Please don't listen to this one, Mom. And anyways, but the point is, this guy was not only pissing in public, but he was in his employee outfit, pissing on the side of the building that he works for,
touching his wiener,
and serving food to what... If I was there, I was a child.
You were eating his pubes in your waffles, in your Belgian waffle.
I love waffle pubes. Oh, they're so disgusting. Gross. Who does that? I wash my hands at my work after I take a tinkle.
I wash my hands
and I don't even
after
serve
I
food.
pee when I'm serving food to myself.
See, I'm not that. I don't do that. I'm just
no,
kidding. I do. Yeah, I don't know what's been lurking on my junk.
Ooh, that's not. That means you're making bad life decisions.
I'm not gonna say anything, but what kind? I mean, Ben, have you had any just public like? Has anybody flashed you? Have they, pissed on the side of the building they work at? Have you seen an employee like come out of the stall, not wash their hands? Stuff like that. This is kind of tying into hygiene, but
and this has to be like in public, like I'm receiving a food service.
Public indecency, yeah. Or it can even be a story where you're sitting there and your dad just walks out butt naked and starts talking to you.
No, I mean there was one time when, and this was years ago. This was
I have so many stories
between me, Aaron, and Austin, and then I think a couple girls were there. I mean, but this was, I was maybe in the 9th grade, Austin in the 8th.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we were doing, but Austin used to have these 2 huge dogs. And so they had huge kennels upstairs. And so I remember, I think we were playing hide and seek or something. So Aaron and I flew into one kennel, and Austin flew into the other. And of course, we could see each other from across, the kennels. And there's the blankets and stuff over us. I guess the girls were looking for us. And so I'm like trying to be quiet. And
I want to know who stuck their penis outside of the kennel. That's where I think this is gonna end.
No, just okay. So we're sitting in the kennels, and I'm just looking down. Like I don't like how close I am to Aaron in a confined space. I'm just not handling it well because I was a big kid at the time, and I'm being shoved into this kennel. The girls walk by, and then they just go back downstairs. because they didn't find us. And so I'm still looking down, and I hear, Ben! Ben! And it's Austin. And the other kennel to my right. And I look over, and his bare ass is pressed right up against the kennel. Now, to understand why this is funny, his ass was divided into little squares because he pressed it so hard against the cage. So you just see his ass, like, where the bars are, it's being pressed into his ass cheek. And then in the space, his ass is protruding out of the holes in like 70 different spots.
That's it?
That's it. He just showed his ass. He just was like, hey, Ben! Hey, Ben!
I'm about to trump you. I got 3 stories.
Oh, God, I don't have any.
First one, these are gonna be quick, except one. So one of them is one of our guys on crew. I'm not gonna name names, but you know who it is. He helps us on topics irrelevant.
Okay.
I'm with him. I'm in his bedroom, and his bedroom is next to his parents' bedroom, and I see him walk in, and like the bedrooms are perpendicular, so I see him walk across my door frame where I was looking, and go into his parents' room, and then just back out and slowly walks into his bedroom. And I'm like, "You okay, man?" He's like, "I walked in, and I saw my stepdad. He was spread eagle on the bed with a blow dryer to his nuts."
What the hell?
And this is probably the raunchiest podcast we're gonna ever have.
Probably.
And I busted it laughing. I was like, so he was there and just doing that. And he goes, yeah. And I go, how did he react? He goes, he stopped the blow dryer and just looked at me till I left. He just stares. Audio guy. Damn it. Our friend.
Rap.
I'm gonna censor that.
Oh my
I'm gonna have to censor the name drop there. He walks backwards out of the room, comes in. If you know this guy, you know how like shooken he probably was. Funny story.
Guy's so awkward.
Now, another one related to this same guy.
Poor dude.
What we did was, I have another friend. His name is James Barnes, and I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but we used to do this thing where we would stick our bare butts to either side of someone's face, call their name, and then they'd turn, get their face in one butt, then quickly turn the other way and get it in the other butt.
What?
So we'd put our bare butts on either side of their face and say, like, one of us would say, "Hey, Ben," and then you'd turn to look at the person who said it, boom, ass in your face. Then you'd whip back, and boom, another ass in your face.
That's awesome.
So we did that to the same guy who walked in on his stepdad. And we're like, James, and he goes, boom, 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 fuck! And he's just so upset, and he just walks out. We're at his house, of course. I mean, we're terrible to him. And he runs out, and we're busting up laughing, all kinds of stuff.
Where did you come up with this idea? Did someone
Accident.
go, let's put our ass in this kid's face today?
Yeah, that's about where we came up with. Because what would happen is the James Barnes, he would do it to people. He'd get behind him with his butt. He'd go, "Hey man," and you go, "Whoa, what the hell?" And then I thought, how great would it be on either side of the face? And then they get butt sandwiched.
Butt sandwiched.
And then the guy who we did it to got like double stuffed.
Oh,
he went like 4 times between each butt, figuring out what was going on. He was so lost and so upset afterwards. Now, my last story about public indecency,
I have one after this. Kind of.
I actually got in legal trouble when I was in 5th and 6th grade for this. And funny story is, one of the people it involved, I actually ended up dating for about 3 years after that when I got into high school. So this is the story. I hung out with this kid, and he was a bad influence. We all have that friend. He was that kid who would pour lemonade down your shirt while you were hanging out at your own house. You know, he'd say, "Hey, what?" And I hate him too. And he was that friend. You know, he was bad. You know, he smoked cigarettes.
Yeah, you're not really sure why you're friends with the guy.
Yeah, but he was bad. We do crazy things and adrenaline rush. He's a piece of
work
crap now.
Shit.
Yeah, he's gone off the dark side. But we would follow these girls because we would walk home and they would walk home through the same field. And we would throw rocks at these girls, messing with them. And then it got to the point where that got boring. So we started mooning them. And we would
assholes,
wait around. There are these old abandoned buildings near our school, and we would hang around the corner there, and we'd hear them, and we'd pop out, butt out, you know, and they'd go, oh my god, ew, and they'd run off and shit. And one of these people, I actually, I was in a couple of stage performances with.
Oh, good.
I think 6. And I don't know if she remembers. She was the one who her mom called the cops on us, and that's why we got in trouble.
Oh,
because it was like
I
sexual
hate it
harassment.
when flashers get.
Well,
caught.
it went further than the butt. Eventually, I didn't do this, but the other kid did. He started whipping out his penis on them.
Yeah.
He would pop out and he'd helicopter it, and man, they didn't like that. They weren't having that. And then
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you go out and you take your dick or your ass or your balls and you flash women,
well,
I think maybe you're asking to get arrested.
Well, I didn't.
No, I think straight up that's just as verbal.
But here's the thing: I hadn't been
please arrest me.
I hadn't been exposed to that kind of a lifestyle yet, so I thought this is okay. Someone's doing it; it's got to be okay.
Were you,
I didn't know.
Were you stupid?
Yeah, back then I was.
IQ of Forrest Gump.
That's not stupid. That's something else. But you know that got boring, and then so we just started breaking windows on that property.
That's not as bad.
And pissing in the windows. So
Did you sense the sarcasm there? Because I meant it.
Because they eventually found another way to get around us,
right.
And so we would just break the windows out of the buildings there and pee in them. And eventually, like my mom got a call while I was at zoo camp. She picked me up. I was in trouble. I was like, I don't know why I'm in trouble. Because I forgot about it. And she's like, Officer Blank has called. And this guy lived on our street. And it was our street we were doing this on. And I didn't know a cop lived on our street.
Oh, perfect.
A school police officer. And he was saying, you know, the mother wants to press sexual harassment charges. Your son could go to jail. And I don't know how I never got a follow-up on that. I'm afraid that in 10 years they're going to say, so back when you were in 5th grade, you sexually harassed someone by, you know, showing them your butthole. You're going to jail. And then my career is down the tank because I showed someone my butthole in 5th grade. But that was my story. I'm a way better person now. I'm not that much of a piece of shit. I still moon my friends, but I won't moon random women in public.
Right.
I used to think that was like a mating call, like a peacock. I would just...
And you flex your butt cheeks.
Yeah, flex my butt.
The women are like, ooh, Gluteus Maximus.
Yeah, I didn't have hair on my butt back then. Now it'd be a whole different story.
Okay.
So that being said, what's your other story? You said you had one.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about this one. I guess I just suppressed it for so long.
Until I mentioned mine.
So this is kids, disclaimer. Kids, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast.
Because their parents don't care.
Yeah, your parents are pieces of shit.
You can find anything on the internet.
Tell them.
Your parents are shit!
Anywho.
Hate them.
If you ever... okay, just younger listeners. Don't necessarily have to be kids. If you ever, like, your parents say, okay, there's a Halloween party that our friends are throwing. Please don't come over because there's going to be alcohol. Do not go over there.
Parties are just...
No. I mean, like, adults, do not go over there. Adults are worse than kids.
Oh yeah, I've been to several.
Dude,
I know.
It's ridiculous. Okay, so I think this is the same year as Austin mooning me and Aaron, poor guy. But Aaron's not in this story. Austin, however, is, and our friend at the time.
Austin just sounds like a bad influence.
Not even. Austin at the time, or no, Austin was there, and then our friend at the time, Jared, was also there. Now, this party was happening.
From Subway because he
not
did
him.
get in trouble
You're
for
stupid.
public indecency.
You're dumb. So the party was happening at Austin's house. His parents threw it, and all of the adults on the street and friends came, and they dressed up, and they just crashed there because they were drunk, and they weren't going to go home to their kids. So it was a good night for the babysitters. Now, Jared lived right next door to Austin. So all we had to do was go into Jared's backyard and then look over the fence to see what the parents were doing.
Oh, hell no. I don't want to know.
Now, of course, we're short, right? So we can't just peek over the fence. Luckily for us, Jared had an entire... Unluckily for us, I'll say.
Okay.
Had an entire... Just in the corner of the fences, had this pile of just like logs for campfires and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Austin, Jared, and I all stand up on this, and we lightly peek over the fence so he can't be caught. And it's nighttime, so it's like hard to see us if you aren't paying attention.
Right.
All the parents are drinking, people are serving drinks, blah 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 blah. Now we see this guy who, for the party, went as what he called Dick in a Box. Now this
my
guy,
dick in a box. Yeah, yeah.
okay, but wait. There's more.
He had 2 dicks in the box.
He had a box over his dick,
Okay.
and his dick was actually inside the box.
But it was peeking out the other
no,
side.
no. It was inside the box completely. But the flaps on the bottom were unsealed. Right? So he was like daring people to touch his dick. So people would just reach up into there and grab the dick.
Would they?
And there was a lot of all the single women doing it, right?
Okay, so we're
is he
like,
like,
married though?
I don't know. Everyone was drunk. All gray areas everywhere.
It was a swingers party.
But we were looking over the fence. Mind you, my parents were there. Obviously, Austin's were. And so
you
were
see your
Jared's.
dad reach into the box
No.
and give it a
No.
tug.
But a man did walk over. And he put his hand in the box and just grabbed the dick. And every woman would like just her thumb and a middle finger like touch it and then pull out. I would assume.
He gave it
just
a
like
good
I don't know, they would go in and out real quick.
Yeah.
This man straight up was like, bah! And just grabs that bitch and was like, "Yeah, you like that, motherfucker?" And just like held it. And just held it there on his like knees. And we just decided we're not watching this party anymore. We just hopped off the fence, went inside, like sat in a corner, rocking back and forth.
Yeah, I'm out.
And to this day, I have no idea who that man was.
See, I would have done it out of disbelief, because I would say, there's no way this guy's asking me to reach in this box and grab his dick, so I gotta do it. Because if
I think you might be a little retarded.
No.
No, straight up. If he was like, "My dick's in the box, you want to grab it?" I'd be like, "No."
And if it was there though, I'd give it a good yank it down out of the box, rip it off, and throw it into the campfire. Eat it later. But I would not believe it. I may do that. Be careful, Ben. I may do that.
Good thing I'm not going as Dick in the Box for Halloween.
So I think that's all we got on public indecency. There's a lot we can go. We're going to tone it down by moving into our advice section. So what we're going to give advice on, and we're going to try to keep this short and simple as usual, is how do you get through that feeling of failure and like success will never see you? So when the chips are down and you're thinking, I'm not going to make it to my blank goal, what do you do?
That's a rough one, man. I experience that frequently with Topics Irrelevant, or Team Irrelevant, which is my own YouTube channel. My biggest dream and goal is to become successful on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to reach out to an audience, and I want people to watch my videos and go, "Wow, my day's been made better because of this. This is great stuff to watch. This is good entertainment."
So when you feel like you're not going to make it there, what do you do? Or what could you do?
I don't. Honestly, it's all. At least I think so. It's all mental. You can't just. Oh man, I don't think I'm gonna make it there. Let me try something different that's gonna make you think, "Oh, okay, now we will get there." You kind of just gotta push through that mental blockade.
Right.
Because Jacob, there's been several times where I've like sat down with you and I'm like, "Dude, I don't know what to do. I'm worried about where this channel's going. I don't want it to flop, and I really want to stick through this." And really, the only advice I can give is you have to push through. One of the biggest mistakes I think most people make are when they don't see immediate results. And that's very discouraging. And I know this firsthand because, I've had this channel since September of last year. And, I've wiped a lot of material off
and we just really got active on it, too.
Yeah, we really started to get growth recently. And it's not even a whole bunch of growth yet.
Right.
But I guess my biggest advice is you have to be patient. You have to realize that if you're worried about not succeeding, and that's what you spend your time doing, is just worrying about that, then you're not going to succeed.
Yep.
You have to... You never get anywhere by giving up. That's just not how it works. And no one ever took off like that. They put some kind of work into it.
Right.
You have to get through that slump of just, wow, we're getting nowhere before
Yeah.
you get somewhere. And you have to remember that and realize that.
Mm-hmm. Blood and sweat pays off. For me, mine mainly comes from the fact that I'm so busy that I don't really have much. I don't have much social time. And I mean, Ben, you know that most times when we're together, it's working.
It's business, yeah.
And it's like I'll just give you an example. So right now it's Sunday, filming or recording the podcast. I got a school project I got to film. Tomorrow we have a 4-hour movie screening at night after classes. Tuesday I have class, and then we've got to film. We're working on a short film called Breakup right now, and then Wednesday I'm working with a client on Wednesday night for a couple hours. Then Thursday night through Sunday I've got my regular work, and it's just for me I really get beat down, and whenever I'm constantly busy but see no results, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, I think people in that kind of a situation where it's you're busy 7 days a week, you're not seeing the results you want to see. You just need to find a couple hours maybe to sit down, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Listen to Morning Joe. Haha. But have a cup of tea or coffee or whatever. I wouldn't recommend alcohol in a situation that you feel down. But just relax, don't get on your computer or your phone. Just relax, wind down and chill out, and just, realize that eventually it's going to pay off no matter what. So that's pretty much it for me. Just take an hour if you can, if you're always busy, and just relax. And, let that feeling of failure just kind of wash away with your thoughts, because it's all in your head. As long as you're doing what you love, you're fulfilling something. And I think as long as you do that, you will see success in some way. So that's kind of what recently, I've had to really keep that mindset, because I've been getting anxiety, and I've been getting down because I'm so busy and not seeing results I want to see. Because I'm constantly striving to be better and be great at what I do, and it gets hard sometimes. So just a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and relax. That's my advice. So I think that's it on the advice column, you could call it. So let's go ahead and sweep on into topic 3, which is live performing. Okay, so we're talking about live performance. I don't know what quote I was going to say.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Okay, so we're talking about performance and live performing. So, Ben, I want to ask you, briefly, give me a rundown of your live performance history. It's quite different than mine, I think.
Yeah, we both have a history in the theater, but mine was... I know you were big-time theater. You were in all these plays, all kinds of UIL. I was in...
Well, thank you.
I think I was in... Jesus. In high school only, I think I was in 2 or 3 plays total.
Okay.
And I did theater all 4 years,
Right.
So I wasn't on theater stage much. However, I did dance competitively.
Dancing. My mom laughs every time you say that, but
Really?
not out of no, he didn't. She's like, that's just a funny thing to hear Ben say. Is
Right.
I used to dance
competitively.
Yeah,
If I
I laugh too when I hear it. I'm like, shut the fuck up,
everyone laughs. Everyone tells me that. Because I can't be like, oh, I got in a dance off, because I didn't. I went on stage and I got judged.
It was an organized dance off with the panel in front of you.
I professionally took part in dance offs. That's what I did. I did that for 4 years straight. And I had competitions. When competition season came around, probably around every weekend, if not, or every other weekend, if not every weekend. So, I did that all the time. And then outside of competing, for the 5 years I danced, at the end of the year, there was this huge showcase in the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, which is this huge...
I was at a concert there.
Right.
I loved it. Huge place.
Yeah, it's a huge pavilion. There's hundreds of people come and see our performances and stuff, and I did that. That's my performance history. It's mostly dancing on stage and either in front of judges or big audiences.
For me, my performance history, and I've told Ben, I'm going to mention 2 things. One was obviously I did theater acting, which is stage acting, and I was in 4 musicals and I think 5 one-act plays. I did 1 or 2 full actual performance plays, but I didn't do anything major in those. It was like last minute. I showed up late to rehearsal because I heard about it. And they're like, "Oh, you can play this grandpa character," and I was like, "All right, I'll take it."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so my performance history is largely live, acting performance. Right. And I loved it. It's what kind of made me want to do film. It developed me as a person and a communicator and an artist. And then also another performance, which it's kind of unconventional to call this a performance. I did competitive debate. I debated competitively about different topics.
That answer.
And I wasn't as good in that statistically as I was in acting. Like in acting, the group I was with, we went to state twice while I was in high school, and we did very well, all the way through. And they're still doing amazing, by the way. They went to state last year, and I expect them to this year. Knock on wood. But debate was interesting because I only went to state once with that, and I got crushed. But I could say I was one of the top 12 in the state of Texas to debate these intense topics.
There you go.
And I don't even remember what I was debating when I went to state. I don't know. I didn't understand the topic. I know that.
Okay.
There was a lot of times that I was a good speaker and good at forming arguments about topics I had no idea about. There were probably 3 topics I had no clue what they were. I know what it is now, but at the time, one of the topics was Citizens United thing. It's super PAC stuff, what allows businesses to fund voting campaigns, and you have to debate both sides. I had no idea what a Citizens United was, and so people were talking about all this stuff, and I had these pre-made cards I would use where I'd say, if they say this, I know what I have to read.
Right.
To refute that, and then you get into the type of debate I did was moral based, so it was based on morality in politics, and so I would debate morality really well, and I think that too kind of helped with my, as a professional person, it helps with your communication skills, your ability to argue professionally without taking it personal. There were times I told people to fuck off. I mean, in debate round I was like, you can fuck off, because I knew I was losing, and it was when I first started. And the person was just being a cunt. And I hate to say that. I hate that word, but that's the only way to describe it. So my performance history is, 3 years of debate, 4 years of stage performing.
Right.
That's really it. I'm not great on camera, but I like to think I have a good face for radio.
There you go. You do. You have the best face for radio.
Thank you. That's probably the best compliment I've gotten on my physical appearance in 3 years.
And what's awful is it's not a big one. Anywho, in those years of live performances and or debating, have you ever gotten stage fright?
Nope. I've never had a stage fright issue. Now, I will say I've had dreams about performing, and I am petrified in those dreams. I still have dreams to this day about shows I've done in the past. And in the dream, it's always like my director calls me, hey, we have to redo this show for some reason. Something went wrong in the paperwork, and it's not going through from 3 years ago. Right. She's like, we have to put on another performance. And everybody knows their lines and all that. And it's a show that I was a lead in. Every time, it's one of the shows that I was a lead in. And I know none of my lines. And everybody's like, why the hell were you the lead actor in the show if you don't even know your lines now? And I was like, I have no idea what I'm saying. And then so we get to the teacher would be like, all right, we're good to go. Let's go perform. And then we'd go perform. I'd get on stage. This is all a dream. Mm-hmm. And I'd go, oh, fuck. Okay. And then I'd leave and then wake up. And those are the worst nightmares I've ever had.
You just walk off
wake
stage?
Up, yeah.
You're a champ.
I wake up. I wake up like, oh my God. Like anxiety ridden. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's terrible. But, yeah, that being said, I never had stage fright. I had one bad experience, and it was my senior year. We were doing a musical, and it was called You're in Town. And so something went wrong, and, I don't blame anybody specifically, because I don't know what happened.
Except for this one person.
Except for myself. No. But what happened was, my cue in that show was because I was playing the narrator bad guy, and like I would kill people and stuff, and I was the narrator of the show, and I'm the only one who lived. And
Nice.
yeah, it was awesome. So I was this corrupt police officer in this fictional world. Anyway, so I'd hear the music cue. I'd walk on stage. I'd be like, well, hello there, little boy, and welcome to You're in Town. And, I mean, great show. I loved it. But, they play the music. I go, and then someone pops up. And he's one of my good friends to this day. He pops up, like, in the stairwell next to me that I'm performing by. He's like, Jacob. I'm like, I can't stop. And so I keep performing. He's like, Jacob, stop. Stop, we're not supposed to perform it. And I'm like, and blah, 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 you're going to see death and corruption and urine. and he, he's like, Jacob, you got to stop now. We're not supposed to go. And I'm like, I'm not buying into this right now, because if I just stop and walk off stage, no, not happening.
That'd be insane.
And so, I'm going, and then they cut the lights. And I was like, oh my God. So I stopped my lines because, what we were really trained to do is if we black out on stage, you stop performing. Because in competitive acting, you're timed for how long your show is, and, you black out if your show's going overtime, and if you black out, you cut off everything you're saying to not get disqualified. So I followed that same rule in that moment during a musical that wasn't competitive, because I was like, if they black out, something's wrong, I gotta stop. Mm-hmm. So I go off stage, and people are freaking out, and they're like, I don't know what's happened. And it was just a small miscommunication, I think, that occurred. And then so we start the show back up, and I go out and give that monologue again, and I'm just shaking in my boots. I'm not stage fright.
Right.
Like, I'm not afraid to give a performance. I love performing live.
Right.
Because it's just, there's this energy with it. But I was shaking because I was like, I can't believe that, I was in the spotlight when this went wrong. All these, there's a bunch of different actors and actresses, the directors at stake here. People were thinking, oh my gosh, what happened? And, I doubt the people were like, oh, terrible show.
Right.
You understand. Things happen,
Yeah.
So that, for me, that was the closest I've gotten to stage fright, I guess. But what about you, Ben? Do you get stage fright whenever you're about to competitively stanky leg?
No, I don't. I mean, I've been nervous, sure. But honestly, one thing that used to happen with all the other female dancers, and this sucked, and I say female dancers because this is a prominently female studio. I mean, literally, the competition team was several hundred, and I was one of 5 guys on the team.
Mm-hmm,
but so I was almost
Lucky
never
man.
dancing with the other guys because we were always a different age. So I was in a different group. So we'd be about to go on stage, and then just all of my partners would be freaking out, and it would just piss me off to no end. And of course, I'm trying to stay calm, but it would just piss me off because this would be like my first year. This even happened at my first competition, period. Mm-hmm. And I was just so mad because these people that I was in the routine with had been competing for 6 years, and they were freaking out, and I was fine. And it was stressing me out. I was like, you don't need to freak out. And this is just almost every competition for several years. The majority of the people in the dance numbers would just lose their minds for no reason. It would just make me mad and stress me out. But I guess the only time I could say I got nervous / stage fright is I wasn't actually even on stage. I was auditioning for a scholarship at Monsters of Hip Hop, which is one of the biggest hip hop dance conventions in America. I mean, you have all kinds of famous people there, and the most famous ones are Napoleon and Tabitha, who are the 2 main hip hop choreographers on So You Think You Can Dance.
Okay.
And I got to meet them and tons of people throughout my entire dance career. But I was auditioning, and I mean, it's a huge group, like 300 people, and I think they only gave the scholarship out to like 2. And this was actually really scary because other people I danced for, I was like, if I didn't do well, these are people I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. But here, I was like, these are famous people. This matters to me. Yeah. And I mean, I got called back to, like, the last 20, and I ended up not making it. Right. But, I mean, that was terrifying.
That actually reminds me, going back, I have had stage fright once. Okay. That brought back a memory that I had blocked out. It was my senior year, and so the year before that, I was a lead in a show, And so I got a lot of acting experience. I started out really bad. I ended kind of good in that show. we went state that year. You know, we placed fairly well when you look at it relatively. You know, we were a little bit disappointed we didn't like get first, second, or third.
Sure.
But you know, up to that point, I'd been getting a lot of awards for my acting, and I was confident, but I never get overconfident. And I was at this convention where you get to audition in front of a panel of colleges, and Baylor was there. They were one of them. Okay. And so I had a couple of my senior friends were there. And, you know, I had this expectation for myself. And I never really thought competitively, like, I have to do better than my peers. But I had this expectation. I was like, I have to, you know, give my best performance, and I have to do better than my peers. I was kind of trying to self-motivate myself, like, you know, I got to make sure I do as good, if not better, than my peers, represent our school well, you know, show that, you know, my small little high school should be on the map for acting. And I butcher it. I get up there, I'm shaking, my voice is shaking, and I butcher a monologue that I rehearsed and practiced all that past year that we went to competition with and all leading up. I butchered it. I didn't get, like, I pretty much didn't act. I pretty much stood there and said the monologue. Yikes. And then the second monologue, it was like a dramatic and comedic. My comedic monologue, I forgot the lines. And it was like a short one, too. Like, my first one was long. My second one was short because you had, like, 3 minutes or something up on stage. Oh, yeah. And I totally butchered it, and I got maybe 2 callbacks, and all my peers were getting, like, 15, 20. And they're like, how many did you get, Jacob? And I was like, oh, I haven't found out yet. Yeah. But there was one guy there who he had seen me the previous year. He was on the judging panel, and he said to me, he's like, hey, I loved you last year, and I want you to perform at my college. And I didn't go. It was Austin Community College. And, I mean, I couldn't go because I couldn't afford living. Right. And, you know, he was like, I want to try to get you a full ride. I want to try to get it paid for, all that. And I was like, do you have film school? I felt like a dick. I was like, do you have film school there? He's like, we can hook you up with some film classes. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll consider it. I ended up coming to Baylor. But point is, like, that despite not getting any callbacks from colleges, the fact that one person said, I saw you last year and I see potential in you, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. It made me feel good. Right. And so that's what I told people. I was like, yeah, I got callbacks, but this guy loved me. And they're like, how many colleges? That doesn't matter. He loved me. Quality. Quality, not quantity, you slut. Oh, man. So, Ben, do you ever plan on performing live ever again? In anything. In anything? Not necessarily dancing.
Yeah, probably. I plan on at some point, like, when the channel becomes big enough, I would like to do a live broadcast. And do it, like...
crowd.
Yeah, you know, every couple months or so, get to interact with the viewers in mid-video. Right. As far as dancing goes... I mean, I don't know, dude. I really, really love it still. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I went to Baylor's hip-hop group called Poppers, Lockers, and Breakers. And okay. I went there freshman year a couple times, and then I stopped going. But when I went back a couple weeks ago, I mean, I had an absolute blast. And, I mean, they were... almost every time I've gone, they've been like, you should try to officially join the group. I mean, you have to commit more because, you know, I didn't go all the time. Right. And they're like, you should do performances with us and stuff. And I mean, I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. But as far as my schedule goes, I mean, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do. Right. I mean, I guess if the opportunity presented itself, maybe. But the way things are looking right now, probably
too
not
much on the plate.
Right.
For me, and Ben and I have been tossing around the idea. We're actually thinking about, and there's no promise here. We've been thinking about working on a stand-up performance to kind of promote our personalities and get people to look at our podcasts, our, you know, internet shows, stuff like that. So that's the direction I would take live performing if I were to do it. I'd want to do stand-up. I've never done it. I have no idea how, and I'm scared. I'm actually terrified. I will get stage fright. Yeah, on that. But I'll probably get freaked out. We're gonna be hopefully working on a stand-up routine that we're gonna practice in front of our friends and family and stuff, get feedback, and then start doing to promote ourselves in our area. So eventually, I'd like to have it on video too. You put stand-up videos online, but we'll see where that goes. Anyways, that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, and please leave a review because we're trying to get featured on iTunes so we can grow a great community and get noticed, get on the map, and include, listener content in our podcast and be able to do more for you guys. We have a SoundCloud if you want to subscribe there, and a Twitter @morningjoe_show. And again, leave a review on iTunes, please. But that's it. I'm Jacob.
I'm Ben.
And this was Morning Joe. You know what's weird is we play out with